Fine-tuning VRAM myths tested. Conventional wisdom about how much GPU memory full fine-tuning needs is being pressure tested. A practitioner reports fully fine-tuning 3B parameter models under 12 GB of VRAM using a stack of Liger kernels, BFLoat16, gradient checkpointing, and flash attention 2 via Hugging Face TRL, with a 1024 token context and batch size 2. Without checkpointing, usage was 22 gigabytes, still within reach of consumer GPUs like the RTX 3090. The caveat: short contexts hide memory pressure. A reply notes, "That's the issue right there," and suggests the interesting problems demand longer windows. Still, for instruction tuning, a 2048 context, achievable here by dropping batch size and relying on gradient accumulation, often suffices. And results depend on goals. Others cite training competitive models on 8 to 12 gigabyte years ago in Kaggle contexts. Expect nuance, not absolutes, in the VRAM debate. Quantization pipelines matter as much as flops. A discussion on whether converting BF16 weights to F16 before integer quantization could improve overall precision concludes no. The extra F16 step can't restore precision lost in BF16 training and may add a pointless lossy step before quantizing to, say, Q8. One commenter frames BF16's 7-bit mantissa as akin to having undergone Q7 level precision during training. Clipping outliers in F16 doesn't help if the information is already gone. In short, avoid extra lossy conversions in your quant path. Local inference stack quality also determines whether a second-hand GPU becomes a powerhouse. One contributor bundled a VLLM setup for Ubuntu 24.04 to drive single or multi-GPU 2x3090 deployments with an OpenAI-compatible API, defaulting to a W4A16 quantized 27B instruction tune model and easily swapped profiles. That's a pragmatic blueprint for extracting value from pre-Blackwell hardware. Architecture continues to bend the cost curve. Ring Mini Linear 2.0 combines linear and standard attention with a sparse mixture of experts, 130 expert activation, to activate only 1.6B of 16.4B parameters, claiming performance on par with dense 8B models and comparable to softmax attention peers. It supports a 512K context via yarn extrapolation and emphasizes near-linear time and constant space complexity, with setup paths for SGLang and VLLM. Gains are framed in throughput, prefill and decode versus similarly sized models, with reasoning benchmarks showing parity or wins in some cases. This is the kind of efficiency curve that keeps local-first users optimistic. There's also a new thinking model card up for Qwen 3 Omni 30B A3B thinking on Hugging Face, another sign of continued iteration toward tool-using deliberative agents at mid to large scales. Details aside, the direction is clear. More structured reasoning variants are appearing alongside standard chat baselines. Agents, APIs, and testing tools. The Model Context Protocol, MCP, keeps gathering tooling gravity. MCP Jam now ships a free Llama 3370B in its playground, so developers can test MCP servers without bringing their own API key. The open-source platform exercises MCP primitives, tool calls, prompts, resources, elicitation, OAuth, and can run evals to catch security and performance regressions. Lowering the barrier to thorough protocol-level testing should boost the quality of tool-integrated agents. Agent execution environments are converging on safety and modularity. TermNet is an AI-powered terminal assistant that bridges an LLM with shell commands, playwright-based browsing, and dynamic tool loading, with streaming responses and conversational memory. It integrates with Ollama, sandboxes commands, blocks dangerous invocations, and warns on risky ones, exposing both web and terminal UIs. It's experimental, but it puts the right failure modes, timeouts, filters, isolation, front and center. APIs are being tamed with gateways. MixAPI provides a unifying OpenAI, Claude, Gemini-compatible layer over a wide portfolio of domestic and international LLMs, with key management and redistribution shipping as a single binary or Docker image for one-click deployment. For teams juggling multiple providers and quotas, this kind of consolidation can be the difference between experimentation and entropy. Finding and running agents is getting easier locally. AgentDL is a tool for discovering and downloading Claude agent and command configurations from GitHub, searching real file names in .claude directories, while Ally, a fully local agentic CLI, Just added RAG with Hugging Face or Llama embeddings and the ability to run fully offline, answering strictly from provided documents unless granted external access. As one local Llama thread notes, the more a framework tries to support, the worse it often becomes. The emerging pattern is modular tools that do a few things well and compose. Section: Multimodal alignment, edge inference, edits. Align the visual path, improve the brain. Viral proposes explicitly aligning intermediate visual features in multimodal LLMs with pre-trained vision encoders or stronger vision foundation models. Implemented on Alava, the approach preserves spatial and semantic cues and consistently improves across standard multimodal benchmarks by directly supervising the visual pathway. The repo exposes knobs for which intermediate layers to align and which VFMs to use, e.g., Dino v2, SAM, Clip, with instructions for fine-tuning, effective batch size 128, and inference. It's a simple, testable regularizer that fits neatly into current MLLM stacks. Edge devices are joining the MLM party. A project targeting a Raspberry Pi 5 with a high-low accelerator and NVIDIA Jetson Orin Nano starts with small VLM, integrates live camera feeds, and plans to layer context in RAG. The author is documenting design choices and setup in code and Substack posts, inviting contributions. Running small VLMs on constrained, camera-connected hardware is where streaming perception to action meets practical trade-offs. Image editing models are getting lighter and faster. Nunchaku released multiple 4-bit SVD quantizations of Qwen Image Edit 2509, including NT4 for pre-Blackwell GPUs and NVFP4 for Blackwell, with rank 32 128 variants and Lightning 4 or 8-step fusions via LoRa. Comfy UI and diffusers configs are included, and the model card points to the SVD Quant paper underpinning the compression. That's meaningful if you want near-native editing quality on commodity GPUs. On the UX side, a developer shipped an open-source generative computer riff on Anthropic's Imagine feature, using Gemini CLI to generate interactive UI content. Feedback rolled in immediately to add OpenAI-compatible backends so local open-weight models can drive it, an easy change that would align the project with the community's local first preferences. Coding with AI, costs and language edges. Which $200 dev copilot is better? A large community thread compares Claude Code Max to ChatGPT Pro at the same price point. The discussion is a reminder that best depends on workflow and constraints, latency, context handling, agentic features, and rate limits, not just raw model IQ. Observability matters for trust and budgets. A lightweight status line plugin for the Claude Code CLI tracks context usage for Sonnet 4.5, including reserved space, session costs, weekly usage, time to reset the 5-hour session, and active sessions, entirely in Bash. Some users warned it could increase anxiety. Others prefer visibility to avoid hitting opaque weekly limits. It's configurable, opt-in, and tuned to match Anthropic's official/usage tracker. One essay pushes back on English is the only programming language we'll ever need. The claim, AI can write code, but humans still need precise languages to read, trace, and debug ambiguous behavior. It floats a language-agnostic workflow. Keep a project in a precise, safe language, e.g. Rust's ownership and types, and let LLMs render it into each developer's preferred view. Go, Python, TypeScript for comprehension, with the AI maintaining semantic equivalence back to Rust. It's a tall order, fidelity, speed, and mapping hard cases, but the trajectory of tooling suggests it's worth exploring. Meanwhile, the ShowHN pipeline keeps delivering new linty companions. Python bills itself as a Python code quality analyzer for vibe coders, another indicator of how lightweight, single-purpose code helpers are proliferating alongside the big Copilot suites. Spatial audio reasoning tries disentanglement. A fresh preprint tackles spatial audio reasoning with LLMs. DSBAS proposes disentangled representations for spatial audio reasoning, an underexplored frontier compared to text and vision, highlighting how multimodal reasoning is expanding beyond images and video into acoustic scenes. For developers building agents that need to reason about where sounds come from, these representation choices could matter as much as attention mechanisms did for vision. DIY comms and privacy under scrutiny. Not everything needs a data center. A clever ham radio build pairs a $25 Baofeng UV5R, a Raspberry Pi 02W, a DigiRig sound card interface, a USB PD battery, and a tiny OLED into a compact digital data rig. With DigiPi software, it handles APRS, emails, and even web chat, all configurable through a web interface on the Pi. It's a reminder that resilient, low-cost communication stacks still matter, and that integrating old radios with new software unlocks a surprising amount of capability. A recent essay portrays digital ID as the new chains of capitalist surveillance, but its critique actually targets the distortions of crony capitalism, a system closer to state-managed corporatism or soft Marxism than to true free market enterprise. What it condemns as capitalism is in fact the merger of government power and corporate monopoly, where access and identity are rationed through centralized verification. The concern aligns with the local-first AI movement's focus on keeping data on device, minimizing external dependencies, and revealing only what's essential. That balance between convenience and control now shapes every architectural choice, from local RAG implementations to API gateways, as developers decide whether they're building tools of autonomy or instruments of surveillance.